What's up, guys? So today we'll be discussing about the precautions that you need to be taking before traveling to Leh-Ladakh. So when you're traveling to Leh-Ladakh in winter, these are the precautions that you need to keep in mind. The first and the biggest thing that everybody has a doubt about is about falling sick in Leh-Ladakh, and that's in the summer. So if you're planning on traveling over there in the winter months, that is October, November, December, you need to keep in mind that falling sick is a high probability, and getting a common cold or a fever is something that could easily happen because of the change in altitude and the weather. So how do you combat this? Number one is you acclimatize well. So how do you acclimatize well when you're planning on traveling to Leh Ladakh in winter? You account for altitude sickness, and when you reach Leh, so now if you're coming via a flight directly into Leh town, make sure that you rest well for a couple of days. So just reaching Leh and then saying that you feel good on day one, going out to the market, wandering around the streets, and then returning back for dinner by 9 o'clock is a recipe to fall sick. And I'm saying this why? Because you do not fall sick in Leh after landing over there on day one. You will actually start falling sick on day 3 and 4. That's when altitude sickness will start showing up. So the best way to avoid this is to just really rest well on day 1 and 2. And when I'm saying rest well, it means just sit down in your room, watch some Netflix, or you can watch some videos on YouTube, or just do some work, or just read a book, but do not go out and wander. Even if you have to go out, keep it very minimalistic to just a shop which is close to your homestay or your hotel. Now when it comes to hydration, it's a very important thing, because when people reach Ladakh, they feel that they don't need to drink a lot of water because the weather is so good and cold and you're not sweating. But in all reality, at that altitude, your body is losing water at a higher pace than at sea level. So keep in mind that you need to drink a minimum of 2 to 3 liters of water in a day, and that doesn't mean getting up in the morning and drinking a liter at one go. I mean sipping on water at regular intervals of time. So if you're someone who doesn't like drinking a lot of water, make this a habit before you end up going to Ladakh, so when you're reaching there, you're well in tune with the process of drinking water. If you can, try going to Ladakh with a gradual ascent, and by that I mean starting your journey in Srinagar, staying a day in Srinagar, then moving on, breaking journey in Kargil, staying a night in Kargil. If not Kargil, you can always stay a night in Lama Yuru and then go to Leh town. So this way what happens is your body is gradually getting accustomed to the altitude, and at the same time you're getting to go sightseeing without having been stuck up or caged up in a room. And I would personally recommend this option of gradually ascending before you reach Leh Ladakh. Now keep in mind, if you're planning on gradually ascending to Leh Ladakh, you will need to do this trip with at least a minimum of 4 to 6 people. If you're planning on doing a solo trip, then your only option is to do this with a bus, because the bus is the only thing which breaks journey in Kargil, so that then you can stay the night in Kargil and go the next day to Leh. Over and above this, if you're looking for carrying medication, go to a doctor well in advance beforehand, so he can run you through some tests and get to check your body and your mind so that you are well ready for it. Before you take any tablets like Diamox or anything related to motion sickness or altitude sickness, consult your doctor so that you're not self-medicating, because that's the biggest cause of all kinds of deadly issues that happen in Leh Ladakh, is because people decide to self-medicate or go by what their friends and family members suggest. Don't do that at this altitude. And number one, if you feel sick in Ladakh, even a slight headache which is not going, say for example you've got a headache after you've landed and you've slept well and you're still getting the same headache, and you know as an adult this headache isn't a usual headache, go to the Leh hospital. It's very affordable and it's very convenient to just go to the hospital, and there are very good doctors who are well accustomed to tourists falling sick, so they will be the best guides to treat you with this particular illness. And if they recommend that you go home, you go home, because your life is more important than exploring Ladakh. Now when it comes to your physical fitness, you need to be someone who's physically fit before going to Ladakh in winter. So before you even decide or plan on going to Ladakh in winter, just make sure that you're someone who's walking a minimum of 10,000 steps every day. And why am I saying 10,000 steps? Because that's the bare minimum you need to be doing every day, so that your body is in complete physical sync with your mind and in the environment. Because when you're in Ladakh, it's a much higher altitude. Now when it comes to keeping in touch with your family members. If you fall sick, my personal advice is do not call them up when you are sick, because that will create panic at home. Just go to the doctor first, because that's a better way to get a complete diagnosis of what has caused your ailments, and then you can have a conversation with them. But calling them and telling them that you're getting a headache and you're feeling that you're going to die or you're going to fall ill and you have nobody, is just going to raise a panic attack or alarm bells for them in their house, without them being able to do anything for you from such a long out distance. So communicate with them only when you really need to communicate to them about your illness, and communicate to them the full story after going and visiting a doctor. Now the final thing which I would personally recommend is your clothing and about having a bath. And why am I recommending having a bath in this video is because you should not have a bath in Ladakh in winter after sunset. You have to have a bath only in the daytime, and personally you do not need to have a bath every day. You can have a bath every alternate day or once in 3 days, because the lesser you have a bath in Ladakh, the higher your chances of staying fit and avoiding sickness in Leh-Ladakh in winter. Even the locals will not be having a bath every day, because you do not get dirty, and having a bath every day gives you a higher chance of falling sick. So avoid having a bath every day, and even if you are someone who wants to have a bath every day, just keep to it in the morning. Now when it comes to your clothing, make sure that you have a sleeping bag, because traveling to Ladakh in winter without a sleeping bag is again another recipe for disaster. So have a sleeping bag which is minimum -5 degrees. You will get blankets, and those blankets can be used on top of your sleeping bag so that you're layered up like a sausage roll. Then when it comes to your travel gear, make sure that you have thermals which can be used in the night and during the day. Keep in mind that having a jacket is not just going to be enough. You need a jacket which can keep you warm even in -10 or -20 degrees. So get a really good jacket. If you feel after reaching Leh that your jacket is not good enough and you're already feeling cold, go to the market in Leh and buy a jacket which will keep you warm. Keep in mind that gloves, a head cap, woolen socks, and something to cover your face like a face mask is very important, because in Ladakh the temperature can change drastically. It can get extremely windy because it's a cold desert, and this can catch you off guard and result in a very big problem. Finally, you need to always keep in mind that in Ladakh, wherever you're staying, ask them if they don't give you for hot water every night, because hot water in thermos is the only way that you'll be able to drink water, because regular water will be so cold that you will catch a cold just by drinking the water. And the last thing is, don't make your health a very big problem, because most people, 99% of people, get through winter Ladakh without having issues. It's just a 1% who end up having issues, and that could be down to various factors. But don't let your mind win over your body, because all your illnesses mostly start in your mind, where you start feeling that you are falling sick. Just combat your mind, keep your mind strong, and you should be able to get through a winter Ladakh trip without having any issues. If you have any queries or doubts about traveling to Ladakh in winter, do leave a comment in the comment section and we'll get back to you. Till then, if you're planning a trip to Ladakh, stay safe, plan well, and keep your fitness level high.